Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, let me first convey my best wishes to all of you for this seminar to be a success. I am currently in Beijing and I will miss you. I have visited Yuexiu University as well as the lovely and interesting city of Shaoxing in April 2019. The university left me very impressed with the modern facilities, the magnificent library, and the forward-looking courses. The virus that has hit China and the world since January 2020 has had a drastic impact on international tourism and has profoundly changed the tourism, hospitality, and the service industry in general. In China, inbound and outbound tourism have completely stopped and is not expected to resume till sometime next year. In China, foreigners are now a small minority among the customers of tourism and restaurants. The industry is now focused entirely on domestic consumers. That has profoundly changed the market, and there is a danger that when inbound tourism resumes, the industry has neglected to plan ahead for foreign tourists, while Chinese people will again be big players in overseas tourism. Now look at a different customer base, different marketing and sales approach. Let us look more in detail on how, in particular, Western restaurants are affected by all the changes. Right now, many Chinese consumers are frustrated. They can't travel overseas for sightseeing and to massively buy duty-free luxury goods. The result is they can only spend their money in China. We have seen a serious increase in consumer spending by the well-off Chinese. Not being able to enjoy restaurants abroad, they now spend heavily in Western restaurants in China. Only the restaurants that paid attention to the changing consumer attitudes are doing well. Others, still suffering from the COVID-19 impact, are forced to leave the market. Some 10-15 years ago, in Western restaurants, we saw like over 80% foreigners and occasionally Chinese. Today, we see rather 90% Chinese and occasional foreigners. Remarkable is that the average Chinese consumer spends considerably more than the average foreigner. They often order too many dishes as they are not used to Western cuisine, or simply feel like spending a lot. The impact of online tools is tremendous, so restaurants need to seriously pay attention to the different mobile apps. Most Chinese consumers choose a restaurant based on the reviews and often do not look at the menu as they order the well-known and recommended dishes of the restaurant. Promotions and special discounts are very popular and attract Chinese customers in particular. Most well-organized restaurants have a permanent and mostly external team to answer comments posted online. Some customers can be simply vicious, giving bad reviews that pull down immediately the overall score of the restaurant. Some write bad comments because of ignorance, because they try to promote competitors, or want to blackmail the restaurant. It can turn simply ugly. Sometimes it is close to hilarious, like complaining that the fish soup tastes like fish, or complaining that the table is too small, as they order all the dishes at the same time, mostly to share. That is contrary to the Western way to first serve the starter, then the main dish, then the dessert, and not first the ice cream. Failing to correctly and diplomatically respond to posted comments can bring down the restaurant. The most important apps are Dianping, by far number one, but also others such as TripAdvisor, Meituan, Erlama, Xiaohongshu, and more. Another important battlefield are the vloggers, also called KOL, key opinion leaders, or simply influencers. They mostly post on Douyin clips, showing them enjoying a meal in a restaurant. See here two famous ones who recorded clips in Morel's restaurant in Beijing and posted on Douyin, Cao Cao and ABD. ABD Beijing having some 1 million followers on Douyin. See the pictures. The Cao Cao clip about the Morel's restaurant that clocked some 45 million views and resulted in many Chinese customers requesting the same dishes, then called the Cao Cao menu, that has, among other, the steak béarnaise. The clip of ABD Beijing focused on the pepper steak, so now customers want the pepper steak. Let's now watch one of those clips, the one by Cao Cao.
大家好，我是曹操。今天我来了在北京我最喜欢的饭馆，叫 Morel's， 它是一个比利时饭馆，它有20年在北京的历史。我20多岁的时候已经开始来这儿吃饭。我住在中国25年，我学了很多中国文化，也吸进来了，到骨子里。今天就不一样了，你们跟我学习学习。我知道你们吃过牛排，你们每次吃牛排，你们老觉得，好吗？为什么外国人那么喜欢吃牛排？我告诉你们。因为就是你们用的汁是用错了。我经常看到人吃牛排要那个黑胡椒汁，只要你们看到这个，你们可以笑他。为什么呢？因为你们知道这个人不懂牛排。真正懂牛排的人不会吃黑胡椒汁，会吃 béarnaise 汁。béarnaise 汁是法国和比利时的最传统的汁，连在美国你都见得少。它是醋、鸡蛋、黄油和香菜，没别的。简直就是太好吃了，所以下一次你们去一个牛排店，黑胡椒 pass 不要，就要法国和比利时这个最传统的汁 béarnaise 汁。你拍个百威啊、雪花啊，不行。这是我那20岁的时候喝的第一个比利时品牌的啤酒，喝多了就得喝一个真正的爷们儿的啤酒，比利时的。Cheers， 元旦快乐！你看，我不应该吃，你强迫呢，强迫我呢。我现在减肥呢，但是没办法，今儿拍这个，我必须得吃这个，不是想吃，是被逼的。啊，小粉可啊，
这表情太牛了！
给你们美国人长点志气吧。
Some of the vloggers demand a high fee to shoot such a clip, easily like 100,000 renminbi. But if they feel the location and the environment will give them more fame, they will waive their fees. Let's now look at the human resources, another issue. In many countries, including the USA, but also in China, the epidemic has changed the labor market. Service staff who faced employment difficulties due to the operating restrictions went back to their city or changed careers. When restaurants and others returned to normal, they faced acute shortages of qualified and willing staff. It has become a serious issue, also affecting the quality of service. And see here some pictures. Some restaurants are resorting to high-tech solutions, employing robots to serve the customers and even to cook the dishes. Many restaurants force the customers to scan a code to look at the menu on their mobile and to order the dishes. These solutions have drawbacks. The robots need to be programmed and cleaned. The ones in the kitchen are in particular an issue. Robots lower the quality of service, as the waiters give little or no advice and personal attention to the customers. Some restaurants at least give assistance when choosing from the menu on the mobile or on the tablets. I personally hate it. Any restaurant of a high standard disqualifies itself if it relies on those new technologies. Also, for most foreigners, the approach is not workable. For respectable restaurants, real and well-trained staff is a must. So there is a need to adjust salaries of the service people, to give them a contract and social benefits to retain them, but also to train the staff and adjust the management style. The role of vocational schools is more and more important. In this respect, President Xi Jinping on 13 April 2021 called for the development of vocational education. Yuexiu University is a great example among the 11,300 vocational schools in China that count some 30 million students. Quality of service also demands quality of ingredients for the restaurants. Too often, Chinese staff tries too much to save money on ingredients to increase profits. I had to tell one new restaurant they should watch the quality of their oil they use to fry certain foods, as the oil was clearly not fresh enough. The restaurants that stick to rigorous quality control are also the ones to stand out and survive over the years. Now some quick notes about domestic travel. Many of my comments about the restaurant business also apply to other sectors, with platforms such as for travel, like Trip.com and Qunar. Businesses need to make sure they perform well on all those and react in the right way to positive and negative comments. China has many untapped possibilities, such as ecotourism, medical tourism, adventure tourism, and promoting RVs, recreational vehicles, and camping. As I often mention, China has so many rich tourism resources of interest for both Chinese and foreign people. There are many rural sites that most Chinese have not traveled to yet, and this can be a unique attraction for them to visit. It is interesting to note that present trends in Western Europe towards rural revitalization are also of great interest for Chinese customers who want to get away from the big cities to seek nature and a quiet and healthy life. Some people are also interested to move to the villages and the countryside for retirement. In return, it revitalizes the rural areas to become travel hotspots and promotes local businesses and employment, taking away the pressure on the big cities. People want to have a whole new experience, and somehow they want to go back to their roots. Recently, in several countries such as France and Belgium, demand for accommodation in rural areas, either short-time or permanent, has skyrocketed. I feel many Chinese people are also attracted to the same experience. My short speech is not meant as a complete view of the rather complex service sector, just some observations through a foreign eye. Thank you for your attention.